Hey YouTubers, I'm far from here. This is Ilex Vomitoria, or the Yaupon Holly. I'm going to do a video on the preparation of Yaupon Holly today. The first thing you want to do is wash your Yaupon, which I've already done. This is just a branch that's been snapped off and then washed. So, and you want to make sure you don't want the berries in the tea. It's okay to use the young ends of the branches. But mostly just the leaves is what you want to use. So just run down the plant and pull all the leaves off. How's the lighting over here? Can you see?
Yeah.
Alright. So, and as what I'm doing, I'm just throwing these into a pot where they will be slightly they're a little wet, so they'll steam a little bit, and then I'll char them just a little bit. That's enough for demonstration's sake. Alright, so let's see, we'll show this over here. It's just Yaupon leaves, and we'll slowly heat them up. And the Yaupon tea is probably one of the most important plants to the Native Americans of the southeastern United States, and there's actually a huge trade network because it only grows within about 30 miles of the coastline. So there's a large trade network, and the Native Americans of the coast became very rich trading Yaupon holly. There's two main uses of Yaupon holly. One was its use as a tea every morning that we drink our coffee, or they drink tea in Europe or in Asia, just as a morning stimulant. And then the other was the more ritual ceremony that would take place at special times, before battles, before councils, any time that cleansing was needed. And they actually would brew this tea into very strong decoctions of it, where you'd boil it down for many hours and then take large amounts of it, drink large amounts of it, become very stimulated on the caffeine, and then regurgitate in order to cleanse themselves. And that's where the name Vomitoria comes from. Ilex is the genus, hollies, and Vomitoria is the species name, and that's where that name comes from. But basically, those are the two main uses of the Yaupon holly, and I think it makes a great tea. I've never tried the black drink. I've never decocted it down and made it really strong and drank that, but the Yaupon tea is great. You just heat up the leaves, wait till they start to turn brown, until they're charred a little bit, just slightly, and then once they do that, you can pour water directly into this and just boil it right up, and it's ready to go.
How much water?
Probably just put a cup of water and maybe boil or steep. You probably steep it if you want a light tea, but you could boil it if you want a bit of a stronger brew. But I think that's good for now. We'll probably do another video later. This is part 2 of the Yaupon holly preparation. I just want to show you guys what the plant looks like after you get it all heated and charred. It kind of just turns brown. It'll be brittle. Some people also like to add some steamed green leaves, but I think this is probably the best way to do it for the modern palate, basically. And this removes the most emetic value, the most purging value. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention that the berries can be or are emetic. They will make you puke. Don't eat the red berries or the green berries. Don't eat the berries at all. But we'll just throw this in here. Mix it up a little bit, turn off the heat, and then let that steep for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then just strain it and you have Yaupon tea. And Yaupon is really easy to get, it's really easy to grow. The Ilex Vomitoria variation pendula, it contains the most caffeine. It's a weeping variety, and that can be found at most horticultural or most nurseries. So, go out there, grow some Yaupon. You can go collect Yaupon if you live anywhere along the East Coast, all the way down, Florida, Texas, the coast of the Carolinas is full of it. But this is the native drug of the southeastern United States. This is part of the heritage of the people of the South, and this is something that needs to be resurrected. I wish more people would start drinking Yaupon holly tea. An interesting note about Yaupon is that during the Civil War, when the trade was cut off between the North and the South, the South no longer had access to caffeine containing plants from different parts of the world, such as coffee and tea. Coffee from Africa and tea from Asia. They were cut off from this trade route, and the use of the Yaupon, its popularity increased tenfold during the Civil War. But after the Civil War and these trade networks were reopened, its use really greatly declined. Another reason for its decline was that the Native Americans who used to live along the coast and who set up the trade networks were pushed out west, taken away from the populations of Yaupon holly, and some of those tribes actually retain a ceremony that represents the black drink ceremony to this day, where they use different herbs to make themselves purge. But none of them use Yaupon to this day because they're removed from the populations of the plant. But there's actually one small population of Yaupon in I think it's Oklahoma or something like that, some strange place. And to me, it seems out of place, but I think it was transplanted by people. But maybe we'll get into that in a later video. I think that'll do it for now.